Thank you, Steve. Thanks for joining us today. Looking back at last night, our offensive player of the game was Lenoris Sellers and Josiah Thompson. Good to have Josiah back. Played really well, played physical. Defensively, Nick Eman-Wari and Boogie Huntley. Good to see Boogie go out there and do that on senior night. Was very productive against the run and the pass. Pretty cool right there. Didn't realize it, but 4 South Carolina kids right there, offensively and defensively with Nick, Boogie, Josiah, and Lenoris. Special teams player of the game was King Ford. Did a good job on all of our units that he plays on. Offensive scout team was Lucas Vose. Defensive scout team was Elijah Davis. And special teams scout team was Chase McCracken. And our Gamecock MVP was Miss Anita, who works in our football program in our nutrition department and is definitely mom away from home for so many of our players. So appreciate her and all she does. Injury-wise, came out of it pretty good last night. Van Dravius Jacobs be the only one that we're a little concerned about as far as the guys that played in last night's game. As far as the tight ends, we'll see as the week goes about their availability. Looking back at last night, did some good things, kind of what I thought. Didn't like the way we started. Some self-inflicted things. Give Wofford credit. Thought we played physical, played hard. Just got to play a lot better, especially on special teams as well. And I know we have a big challenge this week as well. Have a ton of respect for Dabo. He's got a great team again as well, playing at a high level and playing their best ball in November. And it's exciting to be a part of this rivalry, and we're going to need to go play really well on Saturday. Questions?
Hey Shane, I'll start and try to make it brief and get this mic muted as soon as possible. But with Luke Dodie and what he was doing last night, could you kind of just talk about how that role came about for him? I would imagine the lack of tight ends had something to do with it, but could you just kind of expound on that and what went into him playing as much as he did last night?
Yeah, fantastic work, Hale. You are on point, my man. Really, it went into with the tight end situation, us being down our top 3 tight ends last night. We needed to expand our personnel groupings to be able to rely on guys other than tight ends just because of our injury situation. So if you look at, we have a lot of talented receivers and really proud of Luke. He is the model teammate and love what he's about, model player, student athlete, you name it, and does a great job for us just being prepared and on special teams, on offense. He's always ready. When we had that injury situation this week, he, you look at who can come in, and it's not as simple as just saying, let's throw 4 receivers in there. Are you more of a slot receiver? Are you an outside receiver? Are you an X? Are you a Y? Are you an F? Are you a Z in our terminology? And Luke's a guy that he's smart as heck and he knows everything. So he was able to go in last night and do so much just because of his intelligence and football instincts and just being a really good player. So he helped us in a lot of ways. Made a great play on that flat route he caught on the sideline on 3rd down to stay in bounds and get a first down for us. That was a big play at the time because we needed some momentum, and he helped us on that for sure.
Hey, Shane, it's Jordan. More on the topic of Clemson. Obviously, over the summer, it kind of came out that they stood pat and didn't allow this game to be played on Black Friday. Was curious if you had any discussions with Coach Tanner while that was all going on, and what your thoughts would be on playing this game on Black Friday in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we were approached about it. I talked to Coach Tanner about it. I think Coach Tanner talked to Graham Neff about it. I talked to Dabo about it. We're all grown-ups here, and we had conversations with both sides and ended up deciding to play it on Saturday. And as far as the future, I don't know. We'll worry about 2024 and whatnot. It's a great rivalry. There's pros and cons to playing it on Friday. There's pros and cons to playing it on Saturday. Whenever you play it, it's going to be a great rivalry that, a lot of people will be paying attention to. And this year it's on Saturday at 12 noon, and that's all I'm worried about.
Hey, Shane, it's Dave. With it being the rivalry and so many in-state kids on the team, do you talk about that aspect of it with them? Do you let them kind of handle about how they approach the rest of the team about the rivalry and what it means?
Yeah, I think we got to talk about you not being here last night, Dave, and being in Florida instead. Can you care to explain yourself?
Four basketball games at one site. You know what can I say? It was I'll say this. Employees do have to follow the boss's orders sometimes.
Well, there's worse places to be. So enjoy Fort Myers. Is that what I read?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Enjoy Fort Myers and whatnot. I'm sorry. I was thinking about how I was going to bust your you-know-what for a minute. Can you give me the question again? The rivalry and what?
Yeah, just about how the in-state kids on the team handle it, talking with maybe some of the guys who haven't been in the rivalry, or if that's even a thing that you guys do. Just how is the importance of it from a state perspective discussed?
Yeah, no, we'll talk more about it. Today was our team meeting. We're usually on Sundays. It's recapping the game from the day before, and we really never even talk about the opponent on Sundays. We wait until Tuesday when our guys come back. But, I realize that there's going to be more talk about this game than other games, so I wanted to make sure I kind of control the message a little bit before we turn our guys free tonight and all day tomorrow, and then we see them again on Tuesday morning. So I brought up Clemson a little bit, and it wasn't so much about how much the rivalry means. Our guys know it's an important rivalry. It's what makes college football great. It's what makes college athletics great. I don't think you can spend much time. It doesn't take our new guys, whether it be freshmen or transfers, to be here long in this state, in this city, and not realize how important this rivalry is. So for us, it's having great respect for the opponent, which we do. We talked about that today, understanding that they're a good football team, and we're a good football team, and it's a lot of fun to get to play in this, and it's going to be a great game. But the most important thing for us is to put a great week of practice and preparation together to go play and coach really well on Saturday, because I do think sometimes in these rivalry games you can almost overhype them so much and drain your players mentally before you even get to Saturday. So, we got to do a good job of doing that throughout the week. But to answer your question, it's not like we have the players stand up and talk about how much this game means and all that as well. Not saying that's wrong, but we just try and put together a great week of practice, and our guys are well aware of how important this game is.
Hey, Shane, it's Jack. The last time you guys went out to Clemson, it was kind of the same situation where it's a noon game, it's on national television, and you guys seem to be able to handle it pretty well as an underdog. I'm curious, for this type of game, what were the keys going into that last road trip you guys took to Clemson, and how do you see what you guys learned from back then, what you learned, and how you can apply it to now?
I think it's pretty simple. Just go and play well. And we certainly dug ourselves a hole when we went up there 2 years ago. We went down 14-0 and do an interception return for a touchdown. I think we had a tackle or a safety in the end zone for an intentional grounding. We threw an interception, and we hit Juju for a long ball on 4th and 1, and we throw an interception down there as well. So we went up there a couple of years ago and didn't play great. And we all hung in there and found a way to win. So I think that's one thing that you learn from it, Jack, just like any road game, but certainly in a hostile environment like Saturday will be, is you got to play well, and you've got to hang in there and be tough and be resilient and stick together and have each other's backs, because that game up there 2 years ago, I mean, it was back and forth in so many ways, and there were offensive plays and there were defensive plays and there were special teams plays. And just understand that it'll take a total team effort on Saturday, and that winning on the road is hard, for sure, would be the biggest thing. And after that, you just got to handle the emotions of a rivalry game on the road, without a doubt. And just it goes back to your prep during the week.
Hey, Shane, it's Jack again. Wanted to ask you about yesterday in general. Obviously, when the game was over, there were still a bunch of games on and stuff. And obviously the talk is going to be about how, you guys need to keep winning and stuff, but all these other dominoes seemingly need to fall. I'm curious, did you have any other games on yesterday? Were you keeping an eye on anything going else on college football?
During the day, sitting around the hotel a little bit, I saw some of the 12 o'clock games before we left the hotel to come over to the stadium. So I was just watching, just casually as a fan. I think running off the field from pregame warm-ups, there was a fan yelling from the stands the update on the Ole Miss Florida score. So I couldn't help but not know that one. And then when I got home last night, I was a fan like everyone, got home and was with my family, and my parents were in town. So we sat around and flipped back and forth between, I think, 4 games that were going on last night that we were interested in watching, and watched those. And usually I go to bed after the night game is over, but got glued to the Southern Cal UCLA game and stayed up till 2 a.m. watching that like an idiot. I felt that this morning when I woke up. So watching it as a fan, and I'm not naive, Jack. I realize that some things went the way yesterday that we need them to go. But at the end of the day, I know it's coach speak, but it's true. Like, the only thing we can control and the only thing that we can worry about is putting together a great week of practice and going to try and play well on Saturday at Clemson. And they're in the same boat, and that's what we need to focus on. So I watch stuff and keep up with it, but it's not like I have a checklist in front of me of all the teams that we need to lose, and I'm like checking them off as I get the score updates. I'm watching it and I'm aware, and then it's in here early this morning and get to work on Clemson and visit with some recruits that we had in town that were here this weekend, visit with them and get rolling on that.
Hey, Shane, it's Phil Kornblut. With these two offenses, how big a role do you think the running of the quarterbacks both ways will play in this game, and the kind of pressure that will put on both defenses?
Yeah, I think both. Obviously, Lenoris and what he's been able to do in the run game speaks for itself, and needs to be a weapon for us as well, and with our running backs also. And then certainly with Clemson, Cade is a great athlete and showed that last year, showed that last week at Pittsburgh when he had that long run to win the game. And something that I've already talked to the defense about when we met today was just, doing a good job of handling his athleticism, being able to throw the ball, but being able to make plays with his feet when things break down as well. So it'll absolutely be a key, especially when you've got two really good, when you've got two really good defenses going at it as well, particularly really salty front sevens that have really good players, and there's going to be some messy pockets in the pass game and the run game both. So they're excited about their running back and Maffa and the guys around him, and we're excited about Rocket Sanders and the running backs around him, and then the quarterback element as well. It'll be certainly a big part of it on Saturday.
Hey, Shane, last night Lenoris was talking about his confidence and said it's just gotten so much bigger because he's been decisive with his decision making. I'm curious, like, how do you coach that in a kid? Is it trying to put a timer in his head, or is it just giving him positive thoughts? How have you guys been able to make him more decisive this year?
Yeah, I think it's him getting more and more comfortable with what we're doing. It's not like every single week we add a bunch of new plays to the offense. We do a lot of the same concepts, over and over. We dress them up with different formations and motions and shifts and personnel groupings, but he's got more of a familiarity with the offense now because he's been repping things more, and anytime you do something more, you're going to get better at it. Dow and Mike Shule, I think, have done a great job, Jordan, of just, coaching him up on, okay, here's the play and here's the read. And ball, if they're in this coverage, here's where we're looking. And if it's not there, boom, you're here to the next guy. And if that's not there, you're here to the next guy and whatnot. And he's just gotten, I think, more decisive on that if it's not there, go to the next part of the progression, then the next part, then the next part. I mean, we threw an interception last night. We would have liked for him to have gotten to the next progression after that. But I just think he's been very decisive on understanding what the defense is doing, where the ball is supposed to go, and that just comes from reps and experience and meeting and coaching. And, you know, like I said, the more you do something, the better you get at it.
Hey, Shane, with Dylan Stewart, he had another sack last night, obviously, and had a pretty high total for the season, which would have led a lot of teams at South Carolina previous to this one. With him being a 5-star and having all the big-time recruiting, whatever, how nice is it to see a guy who's matched it and maybe even exceeded some of the expectations when that seems to be like a real point of contention for folks when they're kind of looking at a freshman and how he develops?
No, I've been really, really proud of him and how he's handled everything off the field. He's a great young man. His mom was just over here at the facility earlier, and I was talking to her in my office and telling her just, you know, how proud she should be of Dylan, and because of the young man that he is. He comes in with all this hype. He just works really, really hard. He keeps his mouth shut. He's a great young man. He went through some crap earlier in the season, obviously with attention early on with the way that he played, and then some bad publicity with something that happened in the LSU game, and a lot of people attacking him personally who don't know him as a person. And his teammates and the people in this program had his back, and I just see him continue to grow and mature. I mean, he's out there half the time getting tackled, and there were times last night where he was just flat out tackled by the offensive tackle, and it doesn't get called. And it would be very easy for him to get frustrated and channel those emotions in a different direction, but he doesn't. He just works hard and comes right back and just keeps playing. So proud of him and his development and how he works really, really hard and is very humble and hardworking and a great young man and great teammate. Anyone else? Clemson week, guys. Y'all must be nervous.
Everybody's checked out for Thanksgiving, I think.
Clearly. Sorry to keep you guys longer than you wanted. My bad. Y'all enjoy your week.
You're up against the Packers. That's the problem.
Packers or Dabo. I didn't know what time he was getting started. Y'all are probably ready for me to shut up so y'all can listen to him. But y'all have a great week. I'll see you on Tuesday.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Shane.